Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Rahab Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They continually rule very well. Shalom to the hopefully elect that's continually plowing his work, that's giving our diligence to make your call and election sure, in our faith, true sincerity. Shalom. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled, "The Other Nations Are Not Exempt from Judgment." All right. And that's true. The other nations are not exempt from judgment. Just how Esau, which the so-called white man, which his true biblical nationality is Edom. Just how Esau is not innocent of the crimes against the nation of Israel. But also, too, the other nations are guilty of the crimes against our people Israel. Okay, why is that? Because throughout the course of history, these are different nations had a hand in our downfall. All right. Starting from the Hamites, Ishmaelites, Elamites, which Elamites are so-called East Indians. All right, and so on and so forth. All right, Moabites, so-called Chinese, Ammon, so-called Japanese. See, all these different nations had a hand in our downfall, all right? And putting hell on our people. All right, so therefore, the Lord has not forgotten about these other nations and what they did. All right, so therefore, the judgment of slavery is not only going to pertain unto Esau, but also to these other nations, man. All right, they're going to be subservient under us, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, was makes up the nation of Israel. All right. And see, that's why, whenever we go out in the highways and byways, man, we not only, tell Esau's judgment, but we also tell these other nations what their judgment is, man. All right. Why is that, man? Because even to this very day, man, the other nations look at us people as a joke, man. All right, and take advantage of our people. All right, these so-called Ishmaelites and so-called Elamites, these so-called Arabs and East Indians, setting up different shops. All right, which those different stores that they have set up is marketed and geared towards our people. All right, you see a so-called Moabite that's probably set up shop or a store, probably have on, the clothes that Jake always wear, got stuff in there that Jake go in there and buy, man, because whenever they look at our people, they see dollar signs, man. Why is that? Because our people are the top consumers on the planet Earth. All right. Even on the soils of America, our people are the top consumers, man. So therefore, that's why these other nations is going to also face their judgment at the hands of Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right. But there's a stipulation to that, man. Even though they're going to receive judgment from the Lord, but it's not as severe as Esau. All right. Because Esau, with the so-called white man, he is going to serve his time of slavery. But after this time of slavery is up, then he's going to be completely eradicated. All right. And these other nations are still going to be here, man, but Esau is going to be completely destroyed. All right, there's going to be no more Edomites after his time of slavery is up, because Esau, who's a so-called white man, is known as the wicked. All right, it's known as that lone disease that the scriptures speak about, and that lone disease is about to be cut off. All right, because when it goes, the scriptures speak about the lone disease. That lone disease is likened unto a cancer. Right, if you don't attack the cancer from the base or the origin of it, it's going to come back and spread. All right, so the Lord is going to make a riddance of the whole nation of Edom. All right, so I want to go ahead and jump into the scriptures. This book of Isaiah, the 49th chapter, in the 22nd verse, said, "Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons." And this is talking about the natural Gentiles in the scripture, man. All right, it's not talking about the Israel foreigners this time. That's why Some scriptures will speak about the natural Gentiles, which other nations, and there are other scriptures that speak about the Israelite foreigners. All right, so in this scripture, it's speaking about the natural Gentiles, someone that's of another nation. Okay, and it says, "And set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders." All right, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. All right, so once again, that's the subservient, or should I say servitude, under our people, man. All right, they're gonna serve us hand and foot. All right, it said, "They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashim El Shai, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me." All right, so whenever we enter into the whenever they witness our presence, you know, they're going to have their faces to the earth, man. All right, they're going to be bowing down to Israel, man. Okay. Let's see. Slack here, but that's it on that precept. I want to grab another one. Should be in the book of Joel. This is the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. It said, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." All right, so the Lord has not forgotten about the captivity of our people, man. This is what the scripture is talking about. Verse 2 said, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." All right, which that's going to the war of Armageddon, World War III. Okay. Verse 3, it says, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink." All right. Now, this is going into the time of the transatlantic slave trade. All right. Because during that time, not only Esau was involved in that, but also the Hamites were involved in that. That's why they get this thing where they're saying, "Oh, well, you know, your people sold your own people into slavery," and, you know, this and that and the third. That they're not our people, man. These Hamites, these so-called Africans, are not our people, man. It was a clear distinction between us and them, man. Israel and Ham. All right. And also, too, you have the so-called Arabs that were a part of it, which is Ishmaelites. All right. Which the Ishmaelites are the business that they do, in which you can find an example of that in the book of Genesis concerning Joseph. Ishmael has throughout the course of history, they conduct their business in slavery. All right. So during that time, you had the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arabs, that were trained off our people to Esau. All right. Yeah, Ham that was involved in it. Ham was also trained off our people for resources. So they're not exempt, man. All right. And then you have other nations outside of Ham and Ishmael and Esau that help further the affliction. Okay. So they're not exempt, man. None of these nations are exempt from judgment. All right. Now, I want to keep reading because I want to grab another precept in a second. It says, "Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?" Which that's talking about Ham when it speaks about Tyre and Zidon. All right. "And all the coasts of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me," all right, "swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head." Okay. Verse 5 said, "Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians." All right. Now the Grecians, that's talking about the so-called white man, man. All right. Because when you go back during the time of history, the Grecians were or Edomites. All right. So let's talk about the modern day Grecians today, which is still the same nation, which is Esau or Edom. Okay. That you might remove them far from their border. All right. Verse 7 said, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. All right. This land, America, and other parts of the world where we scattered. All right. And will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai has spoken. And so the Lord's going to make sure to return that recompense on your head for what you did. Okay? Now, I want to grab another precept. It's like it. So Revelation is the 11th chapter, and it's like you. All right, now let's start at verse 9. It's Revelation the 11th chapter, in the 9th verse. It says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So these other nations have witnessed our dead bodies, in which that's not talking about literal, man. That's not mean that we were literally dead in the ground. It's talking about spiritually, man, and to our nationality. So these other nations have witnessed us being dead. All right. For 3 days and a half, which that represents 350 years. If you can receive it. It says, it shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So they haven't suffered our dead bodies to be put in graves. In other words, they haven't given us any rest. All right. They didn't consider when we went down and went into slavery and brought here to the shores of America. They didn't consider that, oh, well, these people, these are the people of the Lord. These people of the Most High, you know, their power. All right. They didn't consider that, but they took advantage of it, man. All right. So they took advantage of it. All right. And they gave us no rest, and they continually oppressed our people along with the so-called white man. All right. And further the affliction. Now at verse 10, it says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. All right, talking about these other nations. They have rejoiced over our people's downfall, man. All right. And make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. All right. So once again, the nations are not exempt from judgment. This is one of the precepts to show you that these other nations they're going to also receive a recompense from Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. All right. Now, I want to grab one more precept, and then I'm gonna close it on out. This is Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. So it says, keep not thou silence, O power, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. All right, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, which is Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right. And that the main hest of this agenda, or this objective, is Esau, the so-called white man. all right, to keep us away from our nationality. Because they know if we were to come back to our nationality, then that would spell the end of his rulership, in which that's happening right now. The people of the Lord are coming back to their nationality, all right? Especially the elect, the 144,000, all right? That says, verse 5 says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, all right? The tabernacles of Edom, oh, that's the first on the list. All right, Esau, the so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, all right, the so-called Arabs of Moab, so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, all right, Gabal and Ammon, so-called Japanese, Amalek, those rat bastards, the so-called Jews, the Jewish, they call themselves Jewish, but which really, Amalek is the head of Edom, all right? So the ones that going around calling themselves the Jews today, those are the Amalekites, all right? Those filthy rats, all right? Gutter rats, man. The Philistines, Ham, with their inhabitants of Tyre, Ham once again. Ashur also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah, all right? So the Lord has made a list of the different nations of which he has a controversy against, man. All right. So once again, reiterating what I was saying at the beginning of the video, the other nations are not exempt from judgment because once again, they had a hand in the downfall of our people, in the captivity, in the harsh treatment and anguish that our people went through, man. All right. To further our affliction. Okay. And Esau, the so-called white man, is at the head of keeping us away from our nationality, which is Israel. All right. So once again, they're going to pay for that, man. All right. And the Lord's going to make sure that they pay for it. In terms of Esau receiving the ultimate judgment after slavery by death. Okay. So with that pretty much wraps up the video. Lord's will, you members of the Hope Elect were edified by this video, especially the body of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Rahawa Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. They continually rule very well. And Shalom to the Hope Elect that's continually plowing his work, giving our diligence to make it call and election sure in our faith, truth, and in sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.